Good morning, brothers and sisters. Jim Beckwith reporting here from Natural News. The Health Ranger, Mike Adams. Official rigged coronavirus count, 79,360 infected as of yesterday. 2,619 dead. The realistic estimates, 300,000 infected, 30,000 dead. It's officially rigged. Yes, it is. 2,210 infections outside of China. South Korea, 763. Japan, 147. Italy, 157. Italy has declared a national emergency. Iran, 43. The Air Force tried to shove 50 infected patients into a Fairview facility near Los Angeles where patients died from superbugs and septic shock. Patients were raped, assaulted, murdered. It was ordered to be closed down. Global expansion of pandemic across South Korea, Italy, Japan, Iran, uncontained. But first, what did the CDC and the State Department do against Trump? They're trying to put all this on Trump to get rid of. Yes, they'd rather kill hundreds of thousands of people just to stop Trump from making America great again and bringing this great nationalist movement across the world. Trump outraged that his order to leave coronavirus-infected Americans in quarantine aboard luxury liner ignored as they were flown back to the USA, cross-infecting other air passengers. When you're on a jet, if anyone is sick, it doesn't matter if you put a piece of plastic like they did in between. You're all breathing the same filtered, refiltered air. That's right. And that filtered air through the air conditioner does not stop it. There's a plan to spread it all over the nation, and the CDC is in on it. And the State Department is covering up for the State Department official. This is really sick. I'm telling you, I guess the rapture is supposed to happen this year. Make sure you get your filtration mask from InfoWars. I'm telling you, you definitely need to get an filtration mask from RZ Mask M1 model. I got one. There's all kinds of good. It costs $35 delivered. Total. You definitely need to get one at InfoWars. Get it ordered right away. It's great because it has anti-condensation. It releases air, humidity off your body so that if you're wearing glasses, because you could get the coronavirus through your eyes, that your glasses won't fog up. It's really cool. I'm telling you, literally cool, dry and cool. From Natural News, if you still believe that President Donald Trump is simply paranoid by purging his National Security Council and White House of staffers suspected of undermining him, this should convince you that he's absolutely not crazy to do so. The president had given instructions to staff that 14 Americans aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship who were infected with Wuhan coronavirus were to remain in Japan until such time as they were infection-free. Meanwhile, the president and his virus task force were told last week that Americans quarantined aboard the vessel but were not yet sick would be brought home on 2 chartered planes. However, as the Washington Post reports, that decision was ultimately overruled. Let's put them together by someone without the president's knowledge or permission. The paper reported Trump was briefed on the decision and agreed that healthy passengers should not be on the plane with sick ones, 3 senior administration officials said, but the State Department and a top U.S. health official ultimately decided to bring back the 14 Americans who tested positive for the virus on the planes and place them in isolation without informing the president first. The president first learned about the decision after it was made and infected people were aboard the flight, according to the report, leading him to become extremely angry, and rightfully so that he was not consulted first. The decision, according to the Washington Post, could damage his administration's handling of the response. See what they're doing? And quite frankly, anyone who has been following the undermining and sabotage of the president and his administration has to be thinking that this decision to overrule Trump was made on purpose. Quote, some members of the task force were not told in advance that the infected people would be placed on the plane and learned that only after the plane was on its way to back to United States, the power added. The president is ultimately responsible, not a State Department official. Naturally, the State Department defended its own personnel. Quote, it's important to remember this was an emerging and unusual circumstance, claimed the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Bureau of Consular Affairs, Ian Brownlee. Quote, we had 328 people on buses planned to execute, and we received lab results on people who were otherwise asymptomatic, ill people on a bus on the way to the airport. He added, the people on the ground did exactly the right thing in bringing them home. Not only that, but after they were brought here and quarantined, you thought that was the end of it? No, they found out recently, right before they released them. After 14 days out into the public, they found out the incubation period was not 14 days, but was 21 days, and they were asymptomatic. And on top of that, the testing equipment has failed to even test for the coronavirus. It's a pandemic, folks. And on top of that, it's going to get real big. And on top of that, they're going to hide it from you. I'm telling you, this is crazy what's going on. Really? So the president and his task force weren't sufficiently briefed on the situation then by the State Department? Is that it? Or more likely, was it just someone making a decision against the will of the president because A, they don't like him, and B, don't think he knows what he's doing? No, it's because they were going to sabotage and kill innocent people all across the world. This is going everywhere. Other nations are suffering the same thing. The globalists have decided to kill off mankind. Either way, whoever was responsible has now put not just the president's strategy of containing the virus at risk, but the entire country as well. It could be that whomever decided to defy Trump just committed an act of biological terrorism against the country. Once again, these people were brought back. They were transferred from Travis Air Force Base, and they are now supposed to be going down in this southern Los Angeles facility. They keep moving them instead of keeping them in quarantine. They didn't quarantine them for 21 days, already released a bunch. They have a bunch of people out spreading it all over as a biological weapon all over America. And who knows where they are now? And who knows how many more people are spreading it from them? I'm telling you, this has gone wild. You better get your mask. Also, as Zero Hedge's Tyler Durden points out, coronavirus tests are not sufficiently reliable. See? They often show false negatives, while so-called asymptomatic super spreaders are walking around the countryside infecting people. And that's no different from standard flu tests, which are also not even close to the 100% accurate. On top of that, the standard flu this year is the worst ever. It's bad, folks. Hold on a second. If Wuhan virus begins to spread among the American people, the last person to blame will be President Trump.